Stormheim assaults in midnight. That's right, we got a tower defense mode. I don't know if you guys know this. We are getting a tower defense game mode in the new, stormy, voidy zone. What the hell is that zone called? Yeah, I don't fucking know. I don't know what it's called. We're getting this new event. It's going to be exciting in the new void zone that's coming in midnight. And that zone's also giving us a PvP event. Don't forget that. So this zone seemed like it's going to be active and filled with players constantly. That would be nice. It always feels good when a zone is active for sure. Let's check out what this new tower defense mode is here coming in midnight with Mr. GM.
Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the Stormarian Assault. This is one of the brand new world events coming in the Midnight expansion. This one is more of like a tower defense one with a lot of combat and gameplay, some pretty interesting rewards including a new mount. This is of course going to be one of your weekly events you're going to be doing in the Midnight expansion. Before we get into it, a quick shout out to Exit Lag. If you're getting random lag spikes, rubber banding, or your connection just feels inconsistent, Exit Lag reroutes your traffic to a better path so your ping is steadier and the game feels smoother. As you can probably guess, I spent a lot of time on the WoW PTR, which is hosted in America, but using Exit Lag, I can actually reduce the ping on the PTR to make it run a lot better. With Lunar New Year kicking off, Exit Lag are running their Lunar New Year Festival promotion. Right now, you can get 50% off the annual plan, which means a full year of Exit Lag for half price. And if you've been thinking about trying it, this is probably the best time. There's also a free trial, so you can test it out first and see the difference in your own games before committing. So it's definitely worth checking out while this offer is live. So check out the link in the description, and thanks again to Exit Lag for sponsoring this video. Alright, so yes, the Stormarian Assault. This is one of the world events of Midnight and takes place in the Void Storm zone, which is the last zone of your leveling, and certainly one of the more interesting zones of the expansion.
Let's just call it what it is. It's an updated Nether Storm. That's what this zone reminds me of. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, this looks like an updated, like a refresh of Nether Storm here, which is, that's fine. I thought Nether Storm was pretty damn cool. Void Storm is the zone name, yeah. Sam, what are your thoughts on players having the option to attach a last name to their character? Is that a thing? People can put a last name on their characters. Oh, okay. I don't know. Fine. People want to get into, and more role playing, I guess. I don't know why you would want to do that. I'm not even a United Shots. I have a better net.
Now, this is a max level activity, and I would imagine this will probably open up at the first reset of Midnight. It probably won't be available during early access, and I would imagine once the expansion launches and we get into that first reset, this is probably when it's going to start happening. So let's talk about how this all works. So this is an event that happens every 30 minutes. The basic idea here is to not let the Singularity Anchor die. Basically, it has a health bar, and if it hits 0, obviously you will fail the event.
Okay.
However, when you are doing the event, it does regen over time, but it's not very efficient. It will just die if you don't do anything. Now, as mentioned, this is sort of tower defense, so NPCs will come in waves, and the goal here is to just stop them from reaching it, as once they reach it, they explode, and it loses health. So let's talk about the assault. As mentioned, this takes place every 30 minutes and kind of has different phases. So the first phase is a 5-minute phase called Deploy Defenses. This is the time where you set the defenses around the Singularity Anchor. To empower these defenses, you're going to need a few Stormarian cores. This is not a warbound item, this is BOP, which means you will need to obtain on each character you take to the event to use it. Now, this is rewarded from some one-time quests and 2 weekly quests that you can do.
So there's going to be that one guy who just carries it. Has a lot of these cores. It's just putting up all the defenses for everyone else. That's what always happens with this stuff. One person uses their resources on it.
There are other ways of getting it, like completing the event or progressing your renown enough for it to start dropping from rare creatures, or even buying it from a vendor, but that's pretty late in the renown track. But to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about this. I feel like once this goes live, all of the defenses will be created pretty quickly by everybody else, so maybe not as important as it is right now on beta when it's just like 4 of us or something like that, but we'll have to see with that once the event goes live. Now, there are 4 different types of defenses you can place. You have a black eye that attacks enemies as they pass. You have a shock pylon that attacks enemies but also slows them. You have a barricade that actually stops enemies from coming into the area, but it can be destroyed. And then you also have mercenaries, which does require renown 11, but it seems like these will be like NPCs that will attack for you, which is pretty interesting.
Got to go shock pylon here. You got the slow and the damage. I mean, that's it. That's what you got to go with. It reminds me of the Tesla coils from Red Alert, man. I don't know if you guys know that game. That was a game. That's a good one.
Thing. And as mentioned, you'll be using these Stormarian core items to create these defenses. It takes around 10 to create one of them. Now, once that phase is over, you'll have wave 1. This is a 3-minute phase with just waves of enemies slowly coming in and attacking the core. Of course, if...
By the way, that is interesting. Yes, the mobs do look like they're from Maldraxxus. And what the hell? How can you summon Maldraxxus mobs into this zone? I have no idea. Is there a lore tie-in here, or is this just random shit happening in the game? Who knows?
You've laid a lot of defenses. You're not going to get that many enemies, but if you haven't, they are going to come quite quickly. Once those 3 minutes are over, you can actually prepare additional defenses for 30 seconds. So this is obviously just to replenish some of the other ones that may have been destroyed, but you've also got a few new positions where you can put new defenses. So make sure you're not using all your items in that first phase. Now, once that 30-second phase is over, you have wave 2. This is again just a 3-minute phase. This is more waves of enemies to attack the core, but there will be different enemies here, some more powerful ones, and quite a few more. Once wave 2 is ended, once again, you will be preparing some additional defenses for 30 seconds. This is the same as the previous defense phase, but we'll have even more positions for you to populate.
Man, I'm watching that guy at the top there. These mobs move pretty quick, actually. Like, this guy's moving with pace. Look at him running.
It's the same as the previous defense phase, but we'll have even more positions.
You're gonna have to focus and actually get these guys down. Now, if there's a shit ton of people here, you're just gonna melt these mobs. But as people dissipate and people stop doing this as much, it's gonna take some focus to get this done.
For you to populate. Once those 30 seconds are up, you have the final wave. This is wave 3. This is again 3 minutes, and this will be more waves of enemies.
Is this open world or delve content? This is open world. This is an open world event that happens.
Some more powerful ones, even more than before. This phase is kind of crazy, so definitely kind of save all of your cooldowns on that for this final phase, but it is only 3 minutes, so it's not too bad. Now, if the Singularity Anchor manages to survive, you will complete the...
Man, I just thought about trolling this shit and standing in the middle and slappy handsing everything into the orb. Holy crap. What a degenerate thought I just had. As a Death Knight, I could literally pull everything into the core and end the event on my own. Oh my god. Legendary.
Event successfully. If you fail at any point, you will receive a resupply chest, which does contain some coffer keys, some Stormarian cores, and some of the items that will help you on your next assault. These are just sort of items like bombs and things like that. You can actually purchase more of these as well from a vendor if you want to kind of use these for some offensive and defensive abilities. So that's basically the world event, just kind of waves of enemies coming in, you have to kill them. It's not too bad. It's actually one of my favorite events out of all of the Midnight World events, just because there is a lot of gameplay here. It is very enjoyable. So let's talk about some of the rewards you can get from the Stormarian Assault. So there is a weekly world quest. Now, for this one, you don't necessarily have to win. You basically get 33% of the bar every successful wave you complete. So even if you fail, it'll take about 2 to 3 goes to do that. Now, this does reward a pinnacle cache, which we've seen obviously in the War Within, and in other...
This is a way to get coffer keys. That's like one of the main things that you use these world events for, is you pick up coffer keys, because those are important for delves, especially early on. You got to remember, they buffed the shit out of those extra chests in delves, like mid expansion in the War Within. So this is going to be the first expansion that we start where these delve coffer keys are worth a shit ton, because they give you really good gear.
The world events, this contains coffer key shards, some veteran gear, some veteran crests, some Stormarian cores for your next assault, and some Voidlight Marl. I did this a few times. I actually ended up getting a pet called Kai.
Who Josh says, who the fuck cares about delves? I just told you why you should fucking care about delves. Okay? You get some good freaking gear from that shit, especially early in the season. Heroic level gear.
Which does have some abilities. This pet is one of the very few pets in Midnight that does actually have abilities and can battle. So yeah, Kai comes from this event. Now there is also a mount called the Contained Stormarian Defender. As of the recording of this, it is kind of broken, but yeah, it is listed as a reward from this cache, and I would imagine it comes from both caches, as there is actually 2.
Man, we just reviewed one of these events yesterday, and it had the black and gold Dragonhawk. And now that we see this one, these are pretty cool. Some good mounts from these world events this time.
And I would imagine it comes from both caches, as there is actually 2 caches. So once you've completed the world quest once, you'll have another world quest to complete it again. Now this does reward a victorious Stormarian cache. Now this rewards pretty much the same items, just none of the gear. So obviously you get coffer key shards and cores and Voidlight Marl and things like that. And I'm pretty sure the mount can come from both of those. So essentially there's going to be 2 world quests you want to do per week, per character, to get kind of your main rewards from this. Now you can also choose the Stormarian Assault as your weekly weekly activity in Silvermoon for your weekly quest. So yeah, kind of two birds, one stone
Nice,
there
yeah,
if you want
two
to do
birds,
that.
one
But
stone,
essentially,
exactly.
yeah, you're going to be getting kind of a pinnacle cache from this, as well as a pet and a mount as well, which is cool. Now, there are some achievements linked to the Stormarian Assault as well. You have anchoring the defenses. This is to construct each of the following defenses in the Stormarian Assault. So this is just to place one of each of the 4 defenses. This achievement will require Renown 11, as you will need to do the Mercenaries one, which won't be too bad. You've also got a singular problem. This is to complete all 3 waves of the Stormarian Assault. And you've also got 90% is good enough. This is to finish the Stormarian Assault with the Singularity Anchor at 90% health or higher, which I actually managed to do on the beta, which was kind of cool. So yeah, that is the Stormarian Assault. This is one of the world events of Midnight. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. As I mentioned, this is one of the more enjoyable ones for me. The other ones are okay. I didn't mind the Soiree, but the Legends of the Harroneer and Abundance is kind of broken at the moment, so I'll have to see with that. But for the
this definitely shits on the Soiree event. The Soiree event just feels like an RP, event. This is much cooler. All right, it's a tower defense. Feels like, wow, you're going to get in there, do some damage, kill some mobs, get some coffer keys.
For the most part, this one was kind of good, and I'm kind of interested to see how this will look with more players there, because on the beta, there's only like 4 or 5 of us to do it, so it does make it a little bit of a struggle, but
this
I
will
would
be
imagine
fun
once
early in
there's
the
like
expansion,
loads of people on live, I don't know if this is just going to kind of just be a really kind of boring event where the mobs just die instantly. I guess we'll have to see how this is scaled in relation to the amount of people that are in the area, and maybe it'll just lag really bad. I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's the Stormarian Assault. Guys, if you like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon and I'm on Twitter, Mr. GMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And also I am...
I'm worried about that too, Tech Tim. You said imagine the lag in this area, because we're going to have a lot of open world shit going on. You're going to have this event going on, plus you're going to have the open world PvP zone active as well in this zone. There's going to be a lot of, this is probably of all the zones, there's going to be the most players at any given time in this zone. So this Void Scar, whatever the fuck, I forgot what they call it. Yeah, it's going to be definitely an active zone for sure.
Discord channel as well. And also I am streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Midnight Pre-Patch, Midnight Beta, Midnight Launch coming up very soon, you can check me out at twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, no, this looks cool. The zone in general, I think it looks like a cool zone. There's going to be a lot of activity going on in it. Overall, I think this looks like a fun event, much more exciting than the little party event that we saw not too long ago, for sure. And tower defense is always fun. That's no doubt. So, nice video overall from Mr. GM.